Everyone ignored her because of her scar, except the single dad who said, "Sit with us." The morning sun poured through the cafe windows, casting golden streaks across worn wooden tables and steaming mugs. But for Hannah, the warmth never seemed to reach her. At 25, she carried more than just the weight of her years. She carried the weight of a scar that ran down her left cheek, a permanent reminder of a car accident that had taken her mother and left her forever marked. People didn't say anything outright, but their glances spoke volumes. Quick, averted, sometimes pitying, often uncomfortable. Waiters served her last. Strangers edged away when she sat nearby. Even friends from her past had slowly drifted, unsure how to act around the new Hannah. She'd grown used to eating alone, to sitting in corners, to keeping her eyes down and her voice quiet. That morning, she clutched her coffee like a lifeline, her usual corner table feeling more like a prison than a refuge. She watched families laugh, couples lean in close, friends lean into each other's joy, and she ached. Not for romance, not even for friendship, but simply to be seen, to be treated like she belonged. Across the cafe, Michael, 33 years old, adjusted his daughter Clara's tiny backpack as they settled into a booth. A widower for 2 years, Michael had learned to navigate grief with grace, but raising a 6-year-old alone still left holes in his heart he didn't know how to fill. Clara, with her wide eyes and boundless compassion, often surprised him with her quiet wisdom. As she sipped her hot chocolate, Clara noticed Hannah. Not the scar, but the sadness around her, like a cloak. "Daddy," she whispered, "why is that lady sitting all by herself?" Michael followed her gaze. He saw what most people missed, the loneliness in Hannah's slumped shoulders, the way her fingers trembled slightly as she stirred her coffee. "I don't know, sweetheart," he said gently. Clara frowned. "She looks sad. Can we ask her to sit with us?" Michael hesitated. Approaching a stranger, especially one who clearly kept to herself, felt risky. But then he looked at Clara's earnest face, so full of innocent kindness, and something inside him softened. "Okay," he said, "let's be brave together." He walked over, heart pounding slightly. "Hi," he said softly, stopping a few feet from her table. "My daughter and we've got extra room at our table. Would you like to join us?" Hannah looked up, startled. For a moment, she thought he was mistaken. Surely he hadn't meant her. But his eyes held no pity, no discomfort, just kindness. "I don't want to intrude," she murmured. "You wouldn't be," Michael said with a warm, genuine smile. "Clara insisted, actually." Hannah glanced toward the little girl, who waved shyly, and just like that, something cracked open inside her. She nodded, gathering her things with trembling hands. As she sat across from Clara, the girl beamed. She said, "I like your sweater. It's the color of sunshine." Hannah blinked back sudden tears. No one had complimented her in years. Michael asked her name, then listened, really listened, as she spoke. He didn't stare at her scar. He didn't ask about it. He asked about her favorite books, if she liked cinnamon in her coffee, she did, and whether she'd ever tried the cafe's famous blueberry scones. She hadn't, too afraid to be seen eating alone. Clara chattered about school, her drawings, her dream of being a vet, and slowly, miraculously, Hannah began to relax. She even laughed, softly at first, then more freely when Clara mimicked the cafe's grumpy cat. By the time they parted ways, Hannah felt lighter than she had in years. And when Michael casually said, "We're usually here on Tuesdays and Saturdays, if you ever want company," she didn't just hear an invitation, she heard hope. Weeks passed. Hannah returned, first hesitantly, then with growing confidence. Michael never pushed. Clara never judged. Their presence became a steady anchor in Hannah's stormy sea of self-doubt. Then one rainy afternoon, months later, Hannah finally told them the story of her scar, how the accident had stolen her mother, how surgeries had saved her face, but not her spirit, and how she had hidden away for fear of being seen as broken. When she finished, tears streaming silently, Michael didn't offer empty platitudes. He simply said, "You're not broken, Hannah. You're whole, scar and all." Clara's reached across the table and took her hand. She said, "It's just part of your story, like my freckles." In that moment, Hannah believed them, not because they said it perfectly, but because they'd shown it, week after week, with patience, presence, and pure-hearted kindness. This story isn't about romance. It's about humanity. It's about how one small act of inclusion can reignite a soul, how a child's innocence can remind us of our shared worth, and how sometimes the people who heal us aren't the ones who fix us, but the ones who simply sit with us and say, "You belong here." If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to ACA Storytales. Your support helps us bring more stories of kindness, second chances, and emotional transformation to people who need them most. Because in a world that often looks away, choosing to see someone and truly see them might be the most powerful gift of all. Thanks for watching.